Final seconds, out to Reeves, three-pointer.
During the first 24 hours of the 2023 free agency, NBA players signed contracts worth more than $1 billion. And the truth is that franchises are playing out the season over the summer. Decisions made during periods such as free agency make it possible both to complete a team with the necessary pieces and to attract the most important stars to the team. A way to get assets for free, which allows teams to make the leap to the next level. Welcome to this in-depth look at the best gems that GMs have been able to pull out of their sleeves during the cash spending spree that is the NBA offseason.
In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Specifically, it was July 9th, 2010. LeBron James' Cleveland Cavaliers had fallen 4-2 to the Boston Celtics during the second round of the playoffs, causing the Cavs star to rethink his future. So, Pat Riley, GM of the Miami Heat, seized the opportunity. Dwyane Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh agreed to reduce their salaries to $16.6 million per year in order to play together. It was a 6-season contract that allowed players to opt out of the contract after the 4th season, which was eventually what happened in James's case. During this period, LeBron won 2 season MVP trophies in addition to 2 championships. The Miami Heat became an unforgettable dynasty with probably the best value for money contract in league history. Another teammate of his, who also came to Florida through free agency, was key in the Heat's victory over the Spurs in the 2013 finals.
Go! Rebound Bosh! Back out to Allen! His three-pointer! Bang!
Ray Allen not only scored arguably the biggest three-pointer in NBA history, but also made a huge contribution off the bench during his 2 seasons in Miami. Allen came to the Heat with a contract of just over $6 million for 2 seasons, a ridiculous amount considering he's one of the deadliest shooters in NBA history. This period, in which Ray Allen maintained a 40% from the 3-line, also allowed him to finish his career with 2 NBA championships. It's a coincidence that the retirement of the then-best 3-point shooter in NBA history coincided with the explosion of Stephen Curry, who later took the throne from him. A teammate of Steph's during much of his time with the Golden State Warriors was Andre Iguodala. In 2013, the small forward, who had just finished his contract with the Denver Nuggets, decided to join the California franchise. And his influence went far beyond the numbers. Iggy was still a complete player on offense, whose vision and ball-handling skills allowed him to integrate into any offensive system.
Iguodala, and here it goes! He got it!
However, his defensive and leadership skills were the ones most needed by Steve Kerr. Andre was the only player capable of containing LeBron James to some extent, so he was his main defender during the majority of their battles. But his performance did not stop there. In 2015, Iguodala won the Finals MVP award in the first ring of the Warriors dynasty, averaging 16.3 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game in the series, while also slowing down King James. Let's just say Iggy's total contribution during his first stint with Golden State far exceeds his $12 million salary. Andre wasn't exactly the last great small forward to sign with the Warriors. As we all know, in the summer of 2016, Kevin Durant made a decision that would change his career and legacy forever. Make sure you take a look at our KD legacy video. But Golden State couldn't pass up the opportunity to secure the services of the second best player in the NBA at the time. All the NBA GMs tried to move for Durant, but the Warriors' great 73-9 season convinced him to join forces with the team's great core. Kerr's team would go on to be unstoppable, superior to their opponents to an absurd level.
There's no 2 for 1 here. Durant 3. Yes! How good is that?
Durant offered Golden State an elite score from all 3 levels, posing an interior threat to a Cavaliers team that lacked the presence in the paint to stop him. 2 rings and 2 Finals MVPs in his first 2 seasons saw him multiply his legacy during his time in the Bay. All this for a cool $27 million a year. One of the most recent cases on our list came just a year ago, during the 2022 free agency. Jalen Brunson was coming off a great performance with the Dallas Mavericks during the playoffs leading up to that summer, so his value was clearly on the rise. However, the Dallas Mavericks were unwilling to match offers for their player, considering him a great role player rather than a star. That was not the view of the Knicks, who secured Jalen's services in exchange for $104 million for 4 seasons. His performance since then has been elite. During the regular season, he averaged 24 points and 6 assists per game, shooting an incredible 49% from the field and 41% on 3-pointers. Very high percentages for a point guard who's going to pocket an amount well below the maximum salary for the next 3 seasons. During the previous year's free agency in 2021, the Cavaliers managed to sign a great player that, however, they ended up trading just 1 season later. This is the Finnish sensation Lauri Markkanen, who ended up being a part of the trade in which Cleveland got Donovan Mitchell after signing a 4-year, $16 million per season contract. The player has had the opportunity to lead the team since his arrival in Salt Lake City, which has led to a multi-fold increase in his performance. Averages of nearly 26 points and 9 rebounds have earned him the NBA's Most Improved Player award this past season. The Cavaliers offered a good chunk of money to Markkanen because they felt he had potential, and it's shown. However, in the case of our next player on the list, even the Bucks probably didn't think his signing would have the significance it did. Brook Lopez became an all-star during his time with the Brooklyn Nets, but his performance never translated into titles. And that was true until the center came to the Milwaukee Bucks in 2018, where the player molded into the role the team needed. Brook used his great size to become one of the best defensive centers in the league, who also opened up the court on offense thanks to his consistent three-point shooting. Any center who can do that is going to make a lot of money in the NBA. And so it has been, as the player has managed 5 seasons later to pocket an incredible $24 million per season. Much more than his first contract with Milwaukee of $3.4 million for 1 year. And while we're on the subject of undervalued signings, we have to talk about Goran Dragic. The Slovenian point guard signed in 2012 a contract of $30 million for 4 seasons with the Phoenix Suns, which meant an average salary of $7.5 million per year. In exchange for that salary, Goran had probably the best season of his career, in which he averaged 20 points and 6 assists per game, with percentages of 50% from the field and 40% in three-pointers. That season, Dragic won the Most Improved Player of the season and was even part of the All-NBA third team despite not being selected to the All-Star game. During this 2023 free agency, some players have signed contracts that can be absolutely fantastic deals for franchises for years to come. The most prominent case is probably Austin Reeves, who after averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists per game during the playoffs, has secured the bag with a $64 million contract for 4 seasons. In addition to having earned the starting spot and being probably the 3rd best player of the Lakers during the playoffs, the shooting guard is going to be paid only $5 million more per year than Gabriel Vincent, a player who's also signed for the LA franchise thanks to the salary cap left by Austin. $16 million in the modern NBA is a normal salary for a starter, but not a young stud who can step up to the next level. The other Los Angeles franchise, the Clippers, has secured the services of Russell Westbrook. The former Oklahoma City Thunder legend will be paid just $4 million a year, prioritizing where he wants to be over money. The ridiculous salary pay cut from $47 million to $4 million a year is the largest in NBA history. In a different situation is Miles Bridges, who after his serious off-court issues, will return to the court this season. His off-court issues aside, the $8 million salary considering his on-court production is one hell of a steal. As is the case of the NBA draft, signing a player in free agency is a gamble on an athlete's performance. But this time at least, the general managers have the reference of their performance in the NBA. Despite that, on many occasions these business decisions do not work out well, involving toxic contracts that franchises try to get rid of by any means necessary. But this story we'll leave for another day.